So this is my 2024 running slash biking year in review. Um, as I'm looking at Strava instead of Garmin, Garmin stats are a little bit uh, more detailed, so I'm just gonna stick with Strava. Um, in 2024, I had 333 run activities, which gave me a distance of 2,100.4 miles. Total time of 305 hours and 6 minutes of activity time, elevation gain of 188,547 feet of gain. Um, so that's pretty decent, nowhere near where I should be. Um, I had 12 less activities in 24, but I had roughly 8 more miles, ran 4 more hours of time run, but I've decreased elevation by 15,000 feet. So a little disappointing on that aspect, but again, I didn't really do some of the longer trail races that I've done, or some of the harder training in general. Not as much hill repeats and stuff like that towards the end of the year than I was doing at the beginning of the year when I was banging out, 20-mile days basically every week. Towards the end of the year, we'll say like the last 4 months, I don't think I really had more than like two or three 20-mile days at all. I just slowed down and just got unmotivated to run in general. Um, so that really did slow my progress down, stat wise. I was hoping it'd make me feel a little bit more healthier, get back on track and motivated, but slowing down really didn't do much at all. I mean, I guess it was kind of a mixed bag overall. I I don't know. It's hard to say because I started the year off pretty decent. I had a lot of good competition that I ran into the first couple months before even winning a race. Um, and then in the middle of the year, I was really cranking and going on all cylinders, firing pretty good. And then I just basically crashed out mid-June and just lost all motivation to really try or push myself the rest of the year. Um, so that sort of sucked, but we'll see what happens. I ran 61 total races in 2024, winning 21. So that's a pretty good percentage. Let me do that real quick. Um, it's like 34%. So basically, 1 out of 3 races that I ran, I won. That's pretty cool. Brings my total to 232 races lifetime, won. So getting up there. For my breakdown for 5Ks, I did 27 5Ks, winning 7. Did 4 10Ks, winning 2. Ran 4 halves, won 2. Did 2 full marathons, won 1. Did 8 ultras, so a 50K or more, because that's what I consider an ultra. I won 3 of those. All 3 of those wins were 50Ks. Ran 14 other distance type races. I won 5 of those. So that could be anything from like a mile to I don't know what other random distance, like 14 milers. Ran 225Ks, winning 1 of them. So that was my breakdown of 61 races that I did. Looking back, like as I said, my training was really good early in the year. Even though I was doing more like road than trail, so I wasn't really prepared for any trails until maybe like March, April way. Um, just because the road conditions and stuff like that. I concentrated more on volume than technicality and like hardness. So even though I might have got a 20-mile day or did some hill repeats earlier in the year, I really wasn't like trail runner ready until like April. And actually, that's when I started actually doing some trail races. So I did visit a lot of different races this year that I haven't before. I did like Forever Yours in North Park, even though that's sort of like the same course as some of the other ones. Let me see here. Falling Waters Ultra, Mount Summit Challenge, down Connellsville Way, which I've been wanting to do for years. Glacier Ridge, another one for years that I've been wanting to do. Um, Let me see here as I'm going through the list. Uh, did that Naked 5K, which I wanted to knock off my bucket list. Um, Yahtzee. So I did travel a little bit for some races, try something new. The one race that really stood out to me this year, well, two. Um, I was really excited about going to Falling Waters Ultra in West Virginia. I was really happy with that 50K. Um, really proud of myself during that, even though I did fall and stub my toe and get like a big blood blister. Um, the start of the second lap because it was two loops. Um, so I was a little bit banged up that second lap. But I was just happy with like how I mentally stayed with it. Ended up finishing first. So that was like my first 50K that I won this year. So I was very excited about that, especially coming off some of the gauntlet that I was doing like beforehand. Wasn't sure if I was really going to be healthy. But then like another thing I was proud of is I did 125K on Saturday, and then the next day I did the Run the Breathe half marathon and won that. Um, so just having the legs to win that and put down a 122 marathon or half marathon after running a 125K the day before was, um, to me, a little bit impressive. I just sort of had like a runner's high and went with it. Um, the other one that I was proud of this year was World's End 50K, winning that. Um, the time was, 5.5 hours. It wasn't the greatest time. Um, it probably really shouldn't have won. I just had like a really low time and didn't want to be there and didn't want to run anymore. Um, and I just kept doing that aid station to aid station mentality, um, and finally pulled it off because I was first for a while, like the first couple miles, and then I dropped the second, we'll say from like mile 10, I think it was, to like say 26, 27. Then I caught back up the first, and then I just took over from there. But just how I finished that race, just sticking with it and somehow finding the mental energy um, just to keep going was something I was very proud of this year. Um, as far as like 5Ks or 10Ks or anything like that, there wasn't really anything too exciting. My times as the year went on, say like after June, they really started like dropping. I was doing more, you know, 18 and a halves, even some 19s in there. Um, just as my training started to decrease, my times really went up. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple low 18s and there wasn't even a 17:51 for a 5K in there. But overall, I definitely felt myself um, struggle later in the year as my training decreased. So I definitely have to stick with that a lot more in 2025. And just look for more exciting things um, and try to do more different races than I've done before instead of like the same olds. Like I'm still going to do some of the uh, standard races that I do every year. Um, but do want to mix it up a little bit more, um, travel a little bit more, do that sort of thing. Just get some new experiences under my belt and maybe race less. Like as I said, I did 61 races. Um, Maybe get closer to that one a week. So like 52 total. Obviously I'll still do a couple times I'll do like two or three in a weekend, small 5Ks or something like that. But not try to do back-to-backs, like doing like a 50K ultra or more, and then do another race the next day. That's just not really good for the body. It probably sets me back a little bit, even though it is good training. Um, it's just not necessarily smart to try to do two races like that back-to-back days. So we'll see. Um, well, I'll go to biking real quick. Um, so in 2024, let's see here. I had 231 bike activities, distance of 2,693.3 miles, um, in an hour or 145 hours and 24 minutes. So that was down. Let's see here. Oh, we'll get back to it. How to refresh it. Oop, oh, I have two screens up. That's why I'm trying to go back and forth a little bit here. So in 2023, I had 311 activities. So in 4,274 miles. So I'm down 1,600 miles overall and 50, about 75 hours on the bike. Definitely elevation was down too, about 4,000 feet. Because usually if I'm going to ride my bike, I just run ghost town. I basically stuck with more indoor training in 2024. But early on in this year, I think it really did help me um, with all like the bigger races that I was doing, like April and May, just keeping my fitness up um, while running and trying to bike. If I didn't bike, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I did in 2024. So I'm going to try to incorporate that just as much this year, if not more. Do a lot more 100-mile days or, 20 plus days. But right now, I've been doing a lot of tens on the bike, just banging them out in a half an hour. So I got to get the mileage back up. And just my training in general, been a little bit slow. But I mean, I guess if you look at it from a pure race perspective, doing 61 races and winning 21, with having a wide variety of distances that I've ran and winning different distances, I can't really complain. The only thing I said that I would really like to tweak is the times. Um, I like to see some of my times come down if I do the same races in 2025. Definitely capable with that. Maybe stay a little bit more healthier, and just mentally stay in the game a little bit more. Because that was one of the things I do got to work on going forward is in 2024, I played more of a strategy game, um, and let races play out. And sometimes even, I would say, play down to the competition, um, and not give my best effort all the time. I do know I did that a lot. Um, Sometimes it cost me, but for the most part, it really didn't. I just saved more energy by not giving it my all. Um, but I just want to get back to that mindset where not necessarily burn myself out, but give better efforts and um, make the competition catch up to me and not me downplay to the competition, if that makes sense. So, like, if I was going to race and I showed up and there wasn't really anybody there, I got into that mindset like where I really didn't care or I didn't try as hard as I would if I knew there was people, with the same abilities or greater than mine. But I also a couple times when I knew there was people better, I didn't necessarily try as hard and waste energy either. So just got to try to do my best um, from that aspect. But looking ahead a little bit, my goals for 2025 again is to lower some of my times at races, maybe break a couple PRs this year. Um, I I mean, I have some stuff on the calendar already, like I'm going back to uh, Boston Marathon, but that's more just to actually enjoy the experience this time. Um, I signed up for Laurel Ultra again. I'm in for World's End right now. Um, Pittsburgh Marathon, but nothing really stands out like as a goal race yet. Obviously I want to do those races and do well at those races, but I really don't have that one specific uh, A race on my calendar yet. There's a couple that I'm looking at, but nothing stands out. I would like to get back into some obstacle course racing in 2025. I really do miss that, but we'll see how that goes. Just just to wrap up 2024, it was sort of a down year, even though I did have a lot of success and I really enjoyed it. Made a lot of new friends at races. Enjoyed seeing my friends that I did have or I did make over the year. Um, really do achieve some pretty awesome goals, and even them just like watching them online, post pictures and times and stuff like just the different experiences they had. It was really cool to see. Um, I guess just get back to my roots a little bit more. Find my love of running again, uh, and just start training harder and just find the drive, um, and find something that I really want to look forward to doing, um, and crushing and doing my best at, because I really did lose that last year. Um, but again, being a competitive runner for 8 years now, well, since maybe it's been close to 10, I guess. Um, you always got to mix things up and find something else that drives you, but keep knocking things off the bucket list, um, and see where it goes from there. But I guess it really wasn't too exciting for me. Um, but who knows? I guess we'll see what happens. But that's just my brief recap of 2024 running, um, and biking.